Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Us. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Welcome to the show. Today is 2022 updates. We're coming in like a lion. No, not really, because we had COVID. So let's go. Right. Hey, guys, what's up? Today's show is brought to you by
COVID.
This is Coffee Cofferton. BetterHelp.com/us. That's right, BetterHelp.com/us. You guys, I am serious about therapy, and I hope you are too. And if you are, go to that URL and hook up yourself with a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor. You want to start 2022 off right. You got some jazz, you got some momentum. Well, if you're not right, then you can't do other stuff right. So go get right. Get your mental health in order for 2022. Go to BetterHelp.com/us to get hooked up. All right, January 6th, 2022. Hello and welcome. What's up? Usually at the beginning of the new year, even about 30 days prior to the new year, I am totally jazzed up with goals, with this, with objectives, with all kinds of stuff. And this year was no different. We started 75 hard, like, I don't know, 20 days before Christmas or something like that, and had all this jazz. But then we had COVID, like the day after Christmas.
Well, that was one of like 100 things that happened.
That was 100 things, right? Melanie's brother passing and just all kinds of stuff. And I think one of the main things that knocked us out was just really COVID. We're both vaccinated and we even got COVID, and it put me on my ass for like 5 days straight, and I'm still not 100%.
So you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still kind of funky and everything. So I have learned a couple of things laying in bed for hours and hours and hours on end, wanting to die.
Don't say that.
I'm just kidding. I didn't want to die. And I learned how fragile stuff can be and what is important. And I haven't talked to you about any of this.
Thanks.
So, yeah, obviously there's a little low energy show today. But the point is, or one of the points rather, is stuff can change just like that. One of my mentors says your entire life can change with one phone call, right? Good or bad. Somebody was in a car wreck. Somebody won the lottery. Somebody got a new promotion, a job or something, or whatever. And sometimes we feel like we're invincible. Our marriages are this or that or whatever. But you get COVID and the whole family just goes screeching to a halt. And now, consequently, your whole family has it.
Yes.
And the cousins and everything. So it's just like ripping through, and we're all vaxxed. So I don't even know what the deal. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, that was funny.
No, I'm just kidding. But just the idea of stuff can change, and what really makes you, your marriage, what makes you happy, because it all can change. And when it comes down to it, laying in the bed, I was thankful for a lot of stuff. Believe it or not, I was like, I'm thankful I have a house. I'm thankful that Melanie can come up here and check, or I can check on the kids, or whatever. I'm thankful that I am alive, because some people weren't alive or died from COVID, and some people like were alone and sick and didn't have anybody to take care of them and stuff. And that's just a trippy, sad feeling. And I was not one of those people, so I am thankful for that.
Cool. I didn't know this was a COVID episode. I didn't either.
So what are some more updates?
Well, I just wanted to sort of talk about let's wrap up 2021, talk about all the good things that happened there.
Yeah.
All the things that we're doing. There's huge changes on lay horizon for us in a bunch of different ways. Yes. But let's talk about 2021 and the things that we loved and what we're proud of and what we are excited for. And
yeah,
I'll just say the Bahamas. We went to the Bahamas.
Yeah, 2021 was a big time growth year for us. It was a big ass growth time. I did 75 hard twice. We said yes to the Bahamas. I quit my full-time job. We're doing this full-time now, which is going very, 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 very swimmingly, which is great. And so much growth.
Only dorks say swimmingly. Continue.
Nice try. You don't even know what it means.
I do. I just don't say it because it's dorky.
We went very fondly and swimmingly. And what else? You're just looking through our Instagram to see highlights.
Well, I was actually just to see like what we were doing literally a year ago. I was just curious.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff, and I mean the show has grown a ton. So we made so much progress in areas that we wanted to. And another thing, and this kind of ties back into it. So 2021 was a huge year, huge changes, huge growth mindset, huge building stuff and just balls to the wall all the time, right? And it was
Bacon
great.
to the bricks.
Bacon to the bricks 100% of the time. And from getting COVID and now going into 2022, I am really focused on being more chill.
Good.
Like chill, like meditative kind of chill, like Zen. You know, like we tell our clients sometimes, you know, hey, be Zen, whatever your name is. So I want to be like Zen Seth.
Yeah.
Zen Seth.
Zen Seth.
Right? And actually in here before the thing, I was just like sitting meditating because I want to meditate more and slow down a whole lot more. But what are some highlights for you and how did you grow in 2021?
That was too quick of a transition. I wasn't prepared for that. I think coaching was a huge deal for us. Like all of the coaching clients that we had and the successes we had with them. I mean, last month, so in December, we shared with you. If you haven't heard those episodes, go back and listen to them. Who is that?
Don't know.
Is it important?
Yeah, go solo.
Okay, someone is calling us and whatever. Seth's got to get the phone. But so if you haven't listened to our episodes, the coaching series that we did in December, that was just a teeny tiny teensy eensy weensy bit of the amazingness that happened when we started coaching and the friendships that we made and the lives that were transformed. And what I learned from coaching and why I love it so much is that, excuse me, goodness gracious. Again, this show is brought to you by COVID, Omicron, whatever Omicron. Anyway, that was just a tiny, teeny fraction of the amazingness that happened when we started coaching and sort of being able to see, I guess, at such a degree, and we didn't start coaching this year, but you know what I mean, to see at such a degree how lives were transformed and how not just the couples were transformed, but their children and sometimes even their parents. Like that is mind-blowing and so cool and so amazing. And so that was such a gift for me for 2021. And I guess I'm going to talk about this while Seth is gone. Who knows who he's talking to, but one of the things that happened at the end of 2021, so I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the last, basically all of December was just insane. So we started I wanted to do 75 hard. And so I just like started doing it one day and I was all pumped and Seth started doing it with me too. And that was really, really cool. And then completely out of the blue, my brother passed away really tragically. And I'm actually not going to share that story, although we share basically everything because it's not mine to tell. But I will share my experience with it. And after I told people about my brother passing, particularly our coaching clients, a lot of them made the connection that brother was the one I was talking about on that episode where I talked about essentially repairing my relationship with him, even if it was only from my end. And that sounds weird to say because we didn't have a terrible relationship. So I want to be really clear about that. But there was a time when I thought my relationship with him was really bad. And I got this opportunity to invite myself to go to sushi. Well, I made an opportunity to invite myself to go to sushi and to spend time with him and my parents and my son when he was in Washington. And that was just a really life-giving moment. So I talked about that on a podcast, but that happened. I don't know. That moment was a big deal for me. Who called? Who called? Who are you on the phone with?
Are we being real here?
I guess. Was that the doctor?
Yeah, it was the doctor. So I had testosterone that was the highest ever, like a Russian racehorse. I don't even know.
What does that mean? Oh my gosh. That sounds so not okay.
I don't know what that means either. But the doctor was like, you need to go and see an endocrinologist. So I went, and that was just following up. Everything was fine, but it was a follow-up appointment. So that's another thing, I guess, that has been stressful, which is
we've
something
had like
else we can talk
100,000
about.
things that are stressful. So let's
Right,
continue.
so, okay.
So anyway,
continue.
Like I said, I'm not sharing the story of my brother's passing or anything like that, but that happened. I think it was like December 8th. I think I'm not sure. And the day that happened was immediately like chaos. Like our kids actually found out before we found out, and that was traumatic. Like our kids found out when my mom found out. Talk about trauma. Like that is shocking. They FaceTimed us, and then all of a sudden we were just like, what is going on? You know, you're just like thrown into this crazy world of whatever. And so then my sister is like, one of my sisters lives across the country. She's like, I'm going to drive home. So then all of a sudden, your whole world just hits a big fat pause button and everything just is like repair mode almost, or like this.
And you and I were, I guess, in a position to make sure all the arrangements were done.
I offered. I mean, I said, my sister's coming out, like, let's do something to honor this. And I knew my family couldn't handle, it's not the right word. They shouldn't have had to.
Right.
And so I stepped in and said, I'll help with this. And then it ended up that we ended up really creating the whole thing from start to finish. We did a service. It was probably a 3-day turnaround, maybe.
Yeah, it was like 100 people with catering and an event. And
it wasn't 100 people,
things.
but...
I think it was at least 100.
But we did it at an exotic car museum because my brother was a racer and he loved cars. And so it was like, in a matter of days, we planned an entire event, got catering, got, all the things you can think of.
What does that tell you?
Printed stuff off.
Just a quick turnaround and people looking to us to do that. What does that
I don't know.
tell
You're weird about it, and I have thoughts about it. It's not anything. It's just something that you do.
No,
Carrie could have done it if I didn't do it.
I know, but I like that.
I don't like it.
Well, I like that just doing what needed to be done, right? Just getting shit done.
Yes.
That's what I liked about it.
Yes, but many people in my family can do that.
Yes, I know.
I don't know.
Everybody
so you're trying
can
to
do
take credit for something.
No, I'm not trying to take credit.
Like,
I'm not trying to take credit. I'm just, I like the fact, something about that seems very real to me, and I like it.
Yes. So that was that. That was crazy. And then in that time frame, like I mentioned in a post that I did recently, our dog had puppies. Like in the middle of all of that, my sister called checking on the dog that's pregnant because my sister's a weirdo. And our son went out there and he's like, there are 2 puppies in the kennel. We're like, oh my gosh. So then our dog is having puppies like completely in the middle of winter in the garage, and we feel bad. So we bring her in, and then she like almost didn't have one. So we were worried about having to take her in. And again, all while trying to like curate a slideshow of photos from my brother's childhood and his, it was just insane. And then I think it was the day of his service, I noticed that one of my breasts was like weird, and I'm like, what is going on? I have fake boobs, but #truth. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Did something get functified? And so literally like the day of his service, I realized something was going on, and then slowly realized that there is a rupture in one of them. So I literally have like a flat boob and then a big fake boob. So that's cool. That happened.
So candid.
So candid. So subtle. So discreet. So that happened. And then we got COVID.
Yeah.
Like everybody got COVID. Seth slept for 800 days. I slept for 1 day and felt sick for 809 days. And we are all still kind of sick. Like we are just hacking up our lungs constantly. Seth sleeps constantly.
Yeah. It's weird.
Hibernating.
Man. It's like the thing going back to the 2022 goals. All right, I'm going to start 75 hard and do all this. It's like I wake up, do stuff, and then
go back to bed
because I'm tired. My body's just like, oh my gosh. And of course, like around that #episode of truth.
Hashtag.
It's also depressing, like
right.
It's just depressing.
Oh yeah, and losing sense of smell and taste.
Yeah, lost that again.
COVID is a nasty little bee. That is the quickest way to kill somebody.
COVID a bitch.
I was thinking about that. It's like, if you really want something to die, you take away its sense of smell and taste.
Yeah.
Like, is this ham in my fridge bad? Don't know.
What's
Can't
this?
taste or smell it.
Ah!
Yeah. #you're dead now. Like, it is insane.
It doesn't even taste. It wouldn't even taste bad.
No.
You could eat poison. It's like, I don't know. It's green.
Remember,
it's green candy. No, that's rat poison.
I made fire cider that is like boiled vinegar. And if you've ever boiled vinegar, like made your own pickles, you can't even
like a
breathe
factory.
like 5 feet around that boiling, whatever it's called. I just said the word vinegar. It's like, it makes your brain explode. And I literally could stick my face in the jar of fire cider and like deep yogic inhales and nothing. I couldn't smell it, taste it.
It's no bueno.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's bonkers. And it, again, also is depressing. She's like, oh, yes, coffee in the morning or warm water. I mean, either one. It's
warm
nothing.
water. That's
this
all it is.
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Dessert, nothing.
Zero.
Triscuits, nothing.
Hot sauce.
Zero.
Zilch.
Zip. Nada.
Anyway, one thing about 2022, which has been great, I planned, created, and built and launched Badass Husband Mastermind, you guys.
That's right.
That's right. So go to badasshusband.com to get more information about that. Ladies, if you want your husband to be badass and kick 2022's ass all over the place,
Okay.
get him to join it, right? We have 2 groups already. We've got about 20 dudes, and we are on fire. We have a private Discord channel. We have Zoom calls every week. Email me directly or shoot me a text and get more information about that. I'll see if your husband is a good fit. And if he is on board, badasshusband.com for real. Check that out because it is awesome and it is a lot of fun.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. You're talking about launching a ladies.
Right. Well,
group.
that's another thing I was going to say. Like in the midst of all of this stuff too, is we are working. Like we are still seeing. We took a break from seeing clients because we literally couldn't even wake up and use our eyes. But like this whole time too, I've been working on 2 huge projects that I am actually 4 huge projects that I'm really, really excited about. But one of them is a calendar system that actually Brooke and Jerry, who you heard on in last month's thing, she is my co-conspirator in all of that, and it is delightful. She is such a joy. We Vox her basically 24 hours a day. What were you gonna say something?
I want to say something before I don't remember to say it.
Oh, okay.
However, despite
Interrupting me. Yeah.
Yeah, interrupting you. And Melanie's brother passing and us having COVID and a lot of stuff being really, really, really busy, I am very thankful for the amount of community that we have in this group, like in all the anatomies, right? Like on Instagram, Facebook, people texting and sending
us DoorDash
DoorDash
yeah,
gifts
that's
and,
so kind.
and Grubhub and stuff like that, or the other food things. And that is one thing that Foodify, I think that's one.
iFood.
Yeah, iFood. That is one thing that really hit me in a very, I guess, special way.
Yeah.
And I wanted to thank each and every person who did that stuff. Well, I did, of course. But like also on Instagram and listeners and like people, hey, we're praying for you and stuff like that. Thank you so much. It does 2 things. It does 3 things. It makes me very humbled and very thankful.
Like
my heart is really filled gratitude. Humble squid? That's Humboldt.
I know. But it's funny.
You're silly.
Your heart is very gratitude, you said?
Yes, I have full of gratitudes with that. Thank you very much. And also, it makes me want to grow more. Like, how many people are you texting that you hear had COVID or you hear have stuff? Not a lot, because we don't do that. We're not good at that kind of thing. Sometimes we are, but that makes me say, hey, step up the game. And that makes me also think of we are the sum of the people we hang out with a lot. So you guys have inadvertently, with your thoughts and prayers and thanks and gifts and stuff like that, have encouraged me to be like, hey, Seth, 2022, step up your thankfulness game. Step up your reaching out game. Like you hadn't talked to somebody in a while, shoot them a text. Hey, bro, what's up? How's it going? Just checking in, or stuff like that. So reach out, because community, we say this to our kids all the time. Relationship is
the only thing that matters.
The only thing that matters, right? And especially like being at a service for a family member, people that I haven't seen for a while, or like people talking about Rusty in good ways and stuff like that. It's like the relationship and the lives that he touched and the lives that we all touch. Relationship is the only thing that matters. Because like, again, thinking like when I was saying at the top of the show, like some people had COVID and were alone in hospitals and just nothing, like nothing to look forward to, nobody checking in on them other than a nurse that would change every 12 hours or whatnot, kind of thing. But the relationships we have make up who we are and make up what we do. And that is so, so important. So remember that for 2022. Relationships are the only thing we have, and relationships matter, and relationships are uber duper important. So thank you guys so much for reaching out in that way.
I don't know where I was, but thank you for that. I loved it too.
COVID makes you more sarcastic too, I think. At least for one of us.
COVID's about to punch you in the face. What was I saying? Oh, so doing projects. I'm working on several projects. We're working on a big shift in how we do the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I do. And first I want to talk about the women's version of, so it's a lot. I can talk about a lot. Reva's going to be so mad. Reva's gets mad because we always talk about stuff when we're supposed to not talk about it. Sorry, Reva, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. But we're going to talk about it. So Brooke and I have been working on a product that is a calendar, daily planner system that I am absolutely head over heels about. I have a total crush on it. And basically it's all about measuring what matters in your life. And she and I both have stories. Like, again, if you listened to her episode, her mother passed away from an illness that took years and years, and it was just sad, and it puts the perspective of time just right in your face. And so Brooke is all about living life, like really living life, and not being stuck behind a desk, not regretting anything, not waiting till you're retired to do the things you want to do. And I've always had that
like
same...
Tim Ferriss says, right?
Yeah, and I've always had that same energy just because I've experienced so many near-death things as a kid, but then more so now, obviously, with the passing of my brother and different things. I didn't even say, like, 2 days ago, we went to IKEA and my sister, like, basically collapsed on the floor. And was on the floor of IKEA. My sister is not that kind of person. She's not faff. She's not silly. And she was on the floor of IKEA. We had to get a wheelchair to get her out. She threw up the whole way home. Sorry, Carrie, to tell your entire life story. But it was traumatic.
She had massive diarrhea, too.
Yeah, I think everywhere. Like, IKEA was flooded.
No, she didn't have
She did not have diarrhea.
diarrhea.
But anyway, that was funny, though. Air 5 to that one. That was good. So this whole concept for the planner, all this stuff, you're going to learn about it in a little bit here. Like, we'll do a proper launch. But I am so freaking excited about it. Like, this is giving me the most jazz ever.
Really?
Yeah. Like I could tell you whole stories about this. Brooke
Why does it give you
me,
jazz?
Well, there's lots of things. Like Brooke, when my brother died, Brooke made me a care package, and she sent me the first versions of Measurely.
The prototypes.
Yeah, to our house as a gift. And it was the nicest, most thoughtful, sweetest thing ever. And there's just so much to it. We'll talk about it on a different episode. Zodza, plural. But it just is so life-giving, and the planner itself is transformative. Like for me, which I think is funny because I created it, but then I'm like, oh, it works, right? Which is shocking. But
that's the intent.
It is the intent. And so that's one thing that we're doing. Another thing that we're doing, like production-wise, that's going to be different is we're going to move to more of less of we're just doing a podcast model, and more of a YouTube, just like a big shift in content creation and what we're making and why. We're going to start a cooking show for our daughter. That's going to be rad. Basically, we're going to try to get one of our good friends, Steven, to quit his job at Joyce Meyer Ministries.
He's going to quit
and move to Seattle.
I don't know if we can pay him that much.
Nah, we'll figure it out. But there's
Eventually.
just tons of changes going on, and more of like a lifestyle bloggy vibe, vlogger vibe, whatever the crap that's called. Less of us just standing here in front of this scully screen.
I'm sick of doing stuff I don't want to do.
What don't you want to do?
Sick of the bullcrap, man.
Uh-oh, what's the bullcrap? Share.
Okay. Again, so why don't we just talk about stuff?
Let's do it.
Like this is the first episode of the vlog.
Ooh, vlog.
You're making fun of me.
I'm not.
First of all, okay. Hashtag real again. I go in these waves. 75 hard, kicking ass every single day, making literally tens of thousands of dollars, to done with 75 hard.
Scones all day,
beer all day, and then
you turn into like a fat cherubim.
I never get fat. It never goes to that, but I definitely lose muscle tone. Like all the hard work I did in the gym, like you can actually see 5 of 6-pack abs kind of thing. I'm like, yes, this is sweet.
Keep talking.
I'm not going to keep on talking if you're sarcastic.
You don't have
dismissing.
5 of 6-pack abs.
Yes, I did.
This is a different conversation entirely. Keep talking.
Okay, 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got me so off track. I don't even know what I'm saying now.
You lost progress at the gym. You're a cherubim.
Then you lose progress. I'm not a cherubim, but you lose progress, and then you start getting in like a funk, right? Andy Frisella talks about this, and I am a person that when I'm like super great, it's so funny because a lot of the guys that I listen to are exactly the same. So I'm like, okay, I'm not like a dummy weirdo kind of thing.
You're not special.
I know I'm not special, but I am. Number 4 on the Enneagram.
Oh, gosh. It wasn't he a 9 until he was a 4, everybody. Isn't that interesting? 9 all day long. 4. 4 all day long.
Reva told me I was a 4, and she really thought about it. And I was like, I believe
I was
you're
there.
right.
She and I had the conversation before you had the conversation.
Anyway, I think she's right about that. But that's not about what number Seth is on the Enneagram. Anyway, going through these like ups and downs, like, oh, okay, it's called life kind of thing. But then realizing just be super steady. So that's why 2022 for me, I'm not super keen on like, okay, let's do 75 hard and kick everybody's ass over and do this stuff. I'm just like, no, I want to meditate and like chill out and eat clean food. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I want to chill and yoga-fy stuff. Maybe not yoga, I don't know.
Yoga's great.
Yoga's fine, but just chill out and really speak my truth on basically everything. And that sounds maybe weird, but I don't care if it sounds weird kind of thing. I'm literally going to try it out. And it's the funny thing is doing work with clients, and this happened in therapy all the time, doing work with therapy clients and then also coaching clients, you learn a lot about yourself. Like, do you learn a lot about yourself on those calls? Mm-hmm. Sometimes like we see ourselves in our clients, in what they are doing or not doing, or their growth or not growth or stuckness or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I like it when that happens. I coined the term, it's a serendipitous exchange. When you see something and go, oh, I see myself in you right now, your growth, your not growth, your resistance, your fear, your anxiety, you're diving into it, your like leap, your big leap kind of thing. And that's one of the really exciting things about therapy, and more so super exciting things about coaching clients. But seeing myself oftentimes in the men and also in the women. It's just not just a binary kind of thing, which is really cool. So I want to like continue to harness that growth, what we see in clients, and do it in myself, but be super real about it and not spend time on stuff that I don't want to do. Like consulting stuff down in Seattle, I don't want to do that anymore, but the money is super duper good kind of thing. But I want to take that leap to be like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore.
You should invest in my business.
What is it? Oh!
I'll smack you in the face with this microphone.
Cut it out.
I just wanted the sound of it, like I hit you in the face. COVID. Ow, that hurt. You frogged me mildly. It was a mild frogging.
Okay, does that make sense? And
it does.
You and I haven't talked about any of this.
We haven't talked about anything.
Yeah.
Our kids, this is another thing. It's Snowpalooza in Washington. That's the other thing we didn't mention. Like from, I think it was Christmas Day. It snowed, which was exciting. Like everybody loved it. And the snow was beautimous. I will say it was beautiful snow for
big time.
Days. And it didn't melt, which is really rare out here. And then it just kept snowing, and then icing and snowing and icing and snowing. And so the kids have been like home on top of our heads. School has been delayed for 2 hours every day this entire week. It's Thursday. And so it's like the kids go to school and 8 minutes later they come home. And then everything is wet and icy and you can't get out of your driveway. One of the things I wanted to talk about too, that's another thing that happened like during all of this COVID craziness, is that we have been snowed in. Snowpalooza for days.
And one thing also that I think has helped slow us down, COVID and the snow and just the grayness and everything, and puppies, it's been like, I don't care about anything. I'm just going to sit on the couch. Not in a weird,
care about anything.
Not in a weird, depressive way, but like a turn your brain off, slow down way. And I'll talk about my mentor again. He just got back from a 60-day sabbatical, right? And a sabbatical is a luxury. But the more I'm learning about it, actually, the more doable it is. Not for everybody.
That's the thing I was going to say. Yeah. I just read 4 Hour Workweek, which I can't believe I haven't read before. number one.
Right.
I also don't think you've read it.
Say what
You
want.
told me you've read it twice. I think these are lies. They're wicked, vicious lies. Humans with ears who are listening to this, if you have not read the 4-Hour Workweek because you thought the cover was bad, like I thought, if you have not read the 4-Hour Workweek because you thought you understood the premise, which I thought, you need to read that stupid book. It is so flipping good. I am so pissed off that I didn't read it sooner. If I could go back in time and change that one thing, I think I would.
You would read that again?
I would read it sooner because it's so good and it's funny. It's funny and easy to read.
Yeah.
So go read the 4-Hour Workweek because that influences a lot of how I feel about 2022 and the things that I want to accomplish. And again, I really just wish that you had read it. I think it would have been helpful for us. But what are you excited about in 2022? Things that you want to do? Because you said what you don't want. What do you want?
I want to do more of what I want to do.
What do you want to do?
Anything.
Oh my gosh. What's a thing you want to do?
I want to lean into things that I find interesting. So when I was in college and high school, I had a very, very small woodworking business, and I sold tables to people in downtown Greenville, right?
Old school furniture.
Oh yeah, it was called Old School Furniture, right? I had a business, and I loved it. I could spend hours and hours and hours doing woodworking, and I made all kinds of tables and little things and whatever, and they sold really well, and I loved that stuff. So stuff like that, I want to lean into things that don't like necessarily have to make money or business ideas, or we have to talk about it and like spend a bunch of time and money on stuff. I want to like enjoy things that I want to enjoy more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we started this, and this has been I think this has been probably a 2-year thing, like us doing things that we want to do, like going to the Bahamas or being able to go, or buying the kids snowboards and doing this, or going camping and things like that. Like things that I enjoy with the kids. And that's kind of indicative of the 4-Hour Workweek. Like I'm setting up stuff like that. So it's like I did read it.
Halfway with one eye shut. Don't step on my toes. Rude. Rude.
I want to do more of that stuff because I've been thinking back on the things that I really loved. Like when I was building programs in Indian country, I swear to G, I would wake up at 3 a.m. and go into the office and work and work and work and work and work, because I've been thinking about like why that formula worked. I thrive off of outside validation, and I excel over somebody else's excitement or like, wow, that's great.
Right.
And I don't think that you completely understand that.
I do now.
No, in fact, I know you don't, because you'd say you just want me to be your mom and stuff like that, which is family of origin stuff. And I'm like,
Your
no,
mom's crazy.
Your mom is. Anyway, which your mom has COVID. So, jeez. Anyway, thinking about things like that, and like when I talk to clients or mastermind guys, I'm like, okay, tell me about a time when this thing was going on all cylinders, like what was lining up to work and stuff. And I've been thinking and racking my brain about those times when I would wake up at 3 a.m. like for weeks and months. For years I would do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like seriously. And then the reason I like podcasts like Goggins or Andy Frisella and stuff, because their energy is so high at times. And I know that they're not 24/7 like that all the time. Maybe Gary Vee is or something, but he's crazy. No, actually, he doesn't take any drugs,
I'm just
which
joking.
is wild. But when I get that energy from people, I'm like, yes. And it's so weird because I haven't figured that out yet, right? Like having a cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? It could be a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter. But
What do you
just
mean
having,
you haven't figured it out?
I haven't figured it out.
It's just chemicals, bro.
It's just chemicals. But then, like, what are the results of those chemicals? Like,
whatever you want it to be.
Great things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where I was going for that, but in 2022, I
asked you what you wanted to do. Yeah.
Of stuff like here's the thing. Talking about a sabbatical earlier, you know, it's like you have to give yourself and I can't think of any other word except for this word, margin or space. You have to give yourself that space to be able to think of these things. And for so long, I've packed my brain, my calendar, just stuff after stuff after stuff. I have to create this. Okay, sit down. It's like being an artist and going, okay, at 2 p.m. today, I'm going to start painting.
I have to make the Mona Lisa.
I'm going to make this thing. Here we go. Right? And it was never that way when I was doing art with woodwork or painting. I used to paint tiles and like frescoes. Would that be a thing? I don't know. I used to do mosaic work and stuff like that. Never was it like, okay, a thing. And it was funny because I was telling our middle kid, Tough, he's always tinkering and making things. And it's hilarious. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And he's been bugging because of the snow. I'm like, bro, go to the garage, get out of here, go do stuff. And he's like, Dad, I can't just do that. I can't just like go make it. And he said something like,
the thing is,
he said something like, it's gotta hit you. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I understand that. I get it, you know? But because sometimes he just goes away for hours.
All you gotta do is give him a glue gun.
And then comes back with some wild thing that's like really smart and kind of cool kind of thing. So I want to give myself that space, that extra to be like, okay,
be extra, Seth.
Make something. I think I'm extra enough, but I want to be extra in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Intentional extra.
Right. So what about you?
I think it's funny because, well, one, I want to acknowledge that I heard all that and I think it's great. It's exciting to me because I think we've been really working hard for years, and so has everyone basically. And there comes a point when like your priorities shift and you kind of don't see it, you know, everyone, not just you. And then all of a sudden things are out of balance and you can't figure out how to get them back into balance. So for me, that's what 2022 feels like the desire to do, because most people are like, oh, what are your goals? And they might have these big, like, oh, I want to go on a European trip or some, you know, some like giant, big bucket list thing. And mine is like almost the complete opposite. I'm like, I just want to find an indoor rock climbing group and join it or start it. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to do. Like more small things that are what?
This is funny, but you saying that right now, because we really like to travel, and one thing that I can do for hours on end is look at flights and hotels and itineraries and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, yeah, I want to plan a vacation.
Right. Well, let me tell you why I'm not even worried about that. I know that those things will happen. We have designed our life in such a way that I know if Paul or Robin texts us in 8 minutes and says, hey, Tokyo, ?
You bastard, you better not.
We'll be there. And so I know.
You son of a bitch.
With that, like, that
we're going to Tokyo.
Okay, got it. That we would, like, I know that we're going to do amazing things. How about that? My default setting is the standard expectation of our marriage and our life is we do amazing shit. We do it on purpose. And we do it consistently and regularly.
I just had anxiety because of knowing that, like, then stuff could change, and then what do you do?
What would change?
What
would change? Nothing would change.
Anything can change. Medical stuff.
Okay.
Like, okay, now we have zillions of bills. That's all I'm saying.
This is stupid. You took my dreams and stepped on them.
Nope.
Here's what I think. And I said this to our clients literally yesterday. It would take a lot for us to fail at anything.
Right.
Because we aren't giver-uppers.
That's right.
Like,
well, that
Chip
was one
and
of the
Joanna
things.
are fixer-uppers. We're not giver-uppers.
We're not giver-uppers. When I left my full-time job, one of the things, and we did it as smartly as possible, and one of the driving things was, oh, if this all went to hell in a handbasket, which we've planned it out, and usually things that we plan don't go to hell in a handbasket, then I could turn around and go get a wonderful, excellent, a very lucrative, high-paying job somewhere else.
Right. We're hard workers.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So unless really the wheels fell off, sounded really southern.
Fell off.
Then
Them wheels fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And so that's what I'm saying, but you've interrupted me so many times I don't know what I was saying. But yes, we have created a life that is so full of intention on so many levels that I am not worried and or even concerned about mildly having a life that is full of intention, because that's the foundation of how we work. And that's the foundation of my entire planner concept and calendar club concept. By the way, I'm starting a kick-ass calendar club with Brooke. We're the best. You just don't know it yet. But anyway, so like when that's the foundation that you live by, when that's the basis, like the lowest level is still highly intentional, still full of like big goals and all of that, then it's like your whole world kind of flips upside down and the little stuff becomes really important. You go, oh, you know, I actually wanted to learn about studying herbal medicine. Like that's something I could do on a weekend by myself if I wanted. I don't need to go to Paris to do it, but I could, right? I mean,
I would.
I'm sure you would. You go to Paris to study butter.
Oh, if anywhere you should go, that's where you should go.
Burr.
But
anyway,
right.
That's the way that I look at it, like moving forward into 2022 and how I want to do everything and what I think is important and what I want to accomplish. And a lot of it is stuff, again, according to sort of the 4-hour work week idea, is it's like leveling up so many levels that there's almost no competition where you're at. And you're like, oh, this is really easy. I'm not trying to kill myself for a 9 to 5. I'm not trying to kill myself to have a 4.5-day vacation in Cabo with everyone else. I'm living in like the Maldives for a month. Alone.
What is the best way that I can support you? And I'm asking this because I'm going to tell you how you can support me. But like emotionally, like you've always said, I don't know, do the dishes kind of thing.
Emotionally?
You know? Yeah. Like literally, like if since we are stepping up our game and stuff. And I feel that like your brother's passing and COVID and just like a lot of stuff has really changed a lot of things. I think for our family, I think, or at least for me, I think for definitely you, we just haven't talked about it yet. And
well, what do you think it's changed?
It's like a pivotal. We'll have a client in like 18 minutes here. It seems like it's a pivotal thing. Like this is where couples kind of drift away. And I was thinking about this. I think in certain points in relationships, we're married for 17 years. Like there's family of origin stuff, you know, it's like, okay, you kind of do your old patterns and you realize like, oh, these are no good, family of origin, then we change and then we do that for a long time. But then there's like a third wave of kind of going back to family of origin stuff to where like the real kind of bedrock loyalties, and I'm using like therapy language, loyalties and alliances and stuff come out. And if you're not careful, then couples can drift away kind of thing, you know? And I think it actually happens around, again, nodal events like a death in the family or something like that, or somebody gets sick or something. And you just kind of go back on autopilot, but then you begin to drift away kind of thing.
I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm wondering like how you feel about that, and also ways that you can be supported right now, because ways that you could be supported say 15 years ago in our marriage are probably different than how you feel supported now. Does that make sense? Like given where you are career-wise, ambition, aspiration-wise, mom-wise, life-wise, how can you be best supported by the other person that you were literally doing your entire life with?
This is going to sound like the opposite of probably what you want to hear or what you think I'm going to say.
Don't say dishes.
But no, well, that's one. But I think the primary way that I would feel supported, and I hear this from many women in my age bracket with kids that are roughly like have been married this amount of time, whatever, 30s-ish, 30s to 40s age. The most emotional support and or just logical, helpful support that you could give is to be as consistent and stable as humanly possible. Like to remove your emotions from as many things as possible, as weird as that sounds. Because that's almost like the season that I feel like I'm in, where for years it was like I thought things mattered and I would get upset and I would cry and I'd get mad and I would fight and I'd blah and I'd whatever. And now I'm like, oh, like all of that is an option. None of that changes anything other than makes it more complicated. And it didn't need to be more complicated, right? And so even things like that time you got really upset, like right after my brother's service. And that was just a weird thing. That was like a testosterone thing, I think. Remember, you got mad. We got in a fight about it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I actually am not even in a space mentally and emotional where I can handle my own grief and then your whatever the hell that is right now. And so, as strange as it feels, the more consistent and stoic and stable you can be, the more consistent and stoic and stable I can be. But that does not mean it is void of happiness. Like, stoic, basically, in my opinion, is like, you can do everything. You're aware that people die. You're aware that things go wrong, but you also can do everything. Just go ahead and do it. Don't be over dramatic about it. Don't say like, and that's where I have problems where you're like, doesn't it mean something that people called upon us to do the funeral? And I'm like, not really. It just means that I offered. And there's an element of like removing the ego vibe of it that I want. That to me feels like deep support. Like, I'm starting a business, starting 2 businesses, doing all of these things. I just want to be an adult finally and not be like, and I, again, obviously am basing this off of like my family of origin, what my dad is like as a CEO of a huge company, right? That's what I think of. That's what I'm like, that's the next level. Become that. But with a layer of like freedom and fun and impulse that my dad doesn't really have. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And that's the way that I look at it. It's like, I don't know. I'm to a point where I'm like, well, anything can happen to me and I can survive it. I'm not going to freak out. I mean, that's just dumb. You know, and it has nothing to do with my brother's passing necessarily. I have always thought about death every day. Like, I want to get Memento Mori tattooed somewhere on my body because I love it. Like, I have prepared for people's death and do prepare for people's death every day. Yours, mine, my mom's, my children, everyone, all the time. I think about it constantly.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. It certainly helps me live life more fully. I think.
Do you think you're more in the now? Like Eckhart Tolle vibes?
Obviously.
Obviously?
Obviously. Yes, I think I am more in the now. And I think I don't think about stuff that doesn't matter as much as people do. Which is weird. It's like my dad's whole thing. He says it's like lonely. It's a weird, lonely place to be because I don't think even you understood it for a long time. And so you thought I was being like weird or had malaise or whatever you thought. Malaise sounds like a sauce. Like I had a good sauce on a chow mein or something. A side of malaise.
Chow mein?
Yeah. Why not? But anyway, that's what I think of when I think of the word malaise. But I don't know.
That's Bernays.
So that
right.
Bernese water dog.
I don't know.
I don't either. But I'm excited about 2022 and all the things that we're doing and about starting a product line for my daughter's YouTube channel, about doing a cooking show with her, about creating a product line with Brooke, and all of the ways that I think that will transform people's lives, and creating the Kick-Ass Calendar Club, like all of those things. I'm just super pumped for it. And I don't know. We've gone through a lot in the last month, but it's nothing we can't handle.
Right.
You know?
I always had this thought as far back as I can remember when I was a kid.
I'll sleep in my own bed tonight.
I'll sleep in my own bed tonight.
You impressed?
And yeah, I knew you knew what it was. And I don't know where that came from, but maybe it's just a kind of an underlying attitude that I've always had. I'm like, oh.
Sounds like an old-timey Southern saying.
Well, yeah, maybe. But even that is like, well, that's not guaranteed. But maybe like that kept me going through whatever hope kind of thing, you know. It reminds me of like Viktor Frankl. You know, he's talking about like the guys that lost hope. He could always tell, and then they would die in the concentration camps like 3 days later.
Right.
The moment they lost hope is the moment their body just went like, okay, peace out.
Hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yeah.
Proverbs?
Probably
Proverbs.
Probably. Anyway, so yeah, we hope that this update has been helpful. It's always helpful for us just to talk about stuff, really. And we like it. So we hope you like it. And if you found anything about it that you like, share the show with your husband, with your wife, with your friends, with your mom, anybody. Remember to go to anatomyofus.com
We don't even know. Just go somewhere.
Well,
Who even cares?
anatomyofus.com.
If you want to, if you're like, oh man, they've been through a lot, I should do something for them. Here's what you should do. We're like 12 people away from 1,000 ratings on iTunes. And all I want in my selfish, greedy, egocentric little heart is to have that 1K ratings
1K.
on iTunes. Go rate us on iTunes.
Hit 1K today.
Help us hit a K. 1K today. But seriously, like if you want to boost our morale, send us a little love via iTunes ratings. Do that. That would be optimally enjoyed on this end of life.
We're good. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Again, share the show. If you got any questions, email hello@anatomyofmarriage.com about the mastermind, about what Brooke and Melanie are doing.
Or about coaching.
Or also about coaching, right? If you're like, okay, 2020 is the year to do different stuff for me and my lady, for me and my husband, email us hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. Fill out the coaching form, and we'll get you set up with a call.
Oh, you know what? One last thing. Sorry to make it one last thing, but I have kept having this idea, and I keep forgetting to talk about it. I want to do live sessions with clients. Can we do that?
Probably.
You want to be on our show? You and your spousey? Be on our show like Esther Perel, Where Do We Begin vibes, but less like snooty and uppity.
She's awesome.
If she is awesome, but I get a little sick of the like, next time on Where Do We Begin? Life is perfect for this couple. It gets on my nerves. But anyway,
No, she's French.
So she is French. No, she's not.
All right. We love you guys.
No,
Thank you.
If you want to be on our show and you want to do like live coaching, let us know. Reach out. Send us an email at hello@anatomyofmarriage.com and we'll start talking about it. Seth's giving me a face. That is a face. I'm not worried about anything and everything is awesome. It'll all work out. Okay. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.